Welcome back to MAP, Medical Pathways for Success, the podcast that helps you learn, grow, and thrive on your journey toward a healthcare career. I'm your host, Fred Nazario Alvarado, and today I wanted to make sure we have something that every student, graduate, or working professional can use, no matter where you are on your journey. So today, we're talking about one of the biggest moments in every medical career, exam day, and how to prepare for it with clarity and confidence. Whether you're just about to take your certification exam, just starting your program, or already working in the field and thinking about your next credential, this episode is your roadmap to success. Your certification exam is more than just a test. It's a milestone. It's your opportunity to prove that the effort, the study hours, and the hands-on training have paid off. No matter what certification test you're going for, whether it be medical assisting, phlebotomy, billing and coding, or even nursing, your exam is the biggest bridge between preparation and practice. It's recognized by employers, respected across the country, and most importantly, it shows that you're ready. Because when you pass, you're not just earning a credential, you're opening the door to your future in healthcare. Now, let's talk about the basics. Every exam has its own setup, number of questions, timing, and topic areas. But the goal is always the same, to measure your readiness for real-world patient care. You'll typically see multiple choice questions designed around real scenarios, things you'll actually face in your job. So this isn't just book knowledge. It's about how you think, act, and make decisions in a clinical environment. Whether you're testing online or in person, the key is pacing yourself, staying calm, and trusting what you know. But what about what's actually on your exam? The heart of what you've been learning and preparing for. Every exam is different, but they all have one common goal: to make sure you're ready to step into a healthcare setting and care for real people with real needs. When you look at it that way, every question on your test isn't just about memorizing facts. It's about proving that you can think, act, and respond like a professional. You're showing that you understand not just what you do, but why it matters. So let's walk through the main areas that most certification exams cover, and I'll give you a sense of what each one really represents. Number 1, foundational knowledge and basic science. This one is the core. Your building blocks: anatomy, physiology, medical terminology, infection control, safety protocols. It's the science and structure that everything else stands on. When you understand how the body works and how disease or injury disrupts it, you're not just answering test questions, you're learning how to protect lives. So if this section feels heavy, remember, this is the part that lets you speak the language of healthcare. And that's something to be proud of. Number 2, clinical procedures and patient care. Now we move into the hands-on part. The skills that make you a true medical professional: taking vitals, assisting providers during exams, performing lab tests, supporting patients during procedures. This is where the classroom meets the clinic. Every skill you've practiced, every checklist you've completed, it all comes together here. And when you're sitting in that exam room, every scenario question is really asking, can you handle the situation calmly, safely, and with confidence? You can, because you've done it already. Number 3, administrative and office skills. The behind-the-scenes heroes: organization, scheduling, documentation, and communication. It might not always feel exciting, but this section is the heartbeat of every healthcare office. Accurate records, clear charts, and proper billing, those things keep patient care running smoothly and protect both patients and providers. So when you study topics like EHR systems or insurance forms, remember, this isn't just paperwork. It's patient safety and professionalism in action. Number 4, patient communication and education. This one is my favorite, because no matter what role you have in healthcare, you'll always be working with people. People who are scared, in pain, or simply looking for answers. This section is about connecting. It's about explaining things clearly, showing empathy, and knowing how to adjust your communication for every patient. If you can make someone feel seen and understood, you're already practicing good medicine, no matter what your title says. So take this section to heart. It's not just about passing a test, it's about building trust, the foundation of all patient care. Number 5, coordination of care. Healthcare is a team effort, and this part of your exam checks that you understand how all the moving parts fit together, how information flows between departments, how referrals work, how to follow up after a test or an appointment. When you coordinate care effectively, you make sure no one falls through the cracks. It's a reminder that even though you may only handle one part of the process, what you do affects everything else and everyone else. That's real responsibility. That's real impact. And finally, professionalism, ethics, and compliance. This section ties it all together because it's not just about what you do, it's about how you do it. You'll see questions about patient confidentiality, HIPAA, ethics, and workplace behavior. But deeper than that, it's about integrity, doing the right thing even when no one's watching. When you carry yourself with professionalism, you don't just represent your employer or your credential. You represent the trust that patients place in healthcare workers every single day. So as you study, keep this in mind. You're not just preparing for an exam. You're preparing to step into a career that saves lives, supports families, and strengthens communities. Every flashcard, every quiz, every late night study session, it all leads to that moment when someone looks at you and says, "Thank you for helping me." That's what you're working toward, and that's what this exam is really about. And if you prepare for an exam that doesn't cover these exact areas, here's what I want you to do. Take a few minutes to go online and search for your specific exam on Google. Type in the name of your exam, and right after it, type the word blueprint. For example, if you're studying for the CPC exam, type in CPC exam blueprint. Then scroll past the sponsored links and check out the official or trusted educational websites. That's where you'll find the detailed breakdown of your exam, what's covered, what to focus on, and how to structure your study time. Because remember, the goal isn't just to study harder, it's to study smarter. When you understand the blueprint, you're already halfway to success. Now that you've gotten a clear picture of what's on the exam, it's time to shift gears. Because knowing what to study is one thing, but knowing how to study, that's where the real power lies. Anyone can review flashcards or reread notes, but top performers, they use strategy. They study with purpose. So, in this next part, we're going to walk through proven ways to stay focused, study smarter, and build the kind of confidence that lasts all the way to test day and beyond. Get ready. This is your MAP Exam Prep Special Segment, Study Strategies and Preparation Tips.
Get set, let's go. Time to ignite. Learn, grow, and shine your light. Focus up, the future fits. It's study strategies and preparation tips.
It's time for a special segment, and this one's all about helping you feel confident and fully prepared for your upcoming exam. Whether your test date is right around the corner or still a few weeks away, this part is packed with real, practical strategies you can start using today. We're diving into what actually works, what doesn't, and how to study smarter, not harder. So you can walk into that test room calm, focused, and ready to show exactly what you've learned. And here's something to keep in mind. Most certification exams don't just test what you remember. They test how well you can apply what you've learned into real-world healthcare situations. That's why the most effective study plan isn't about memorizing every detail. It's about building true understanding, sharpening your strategy, and learning how to think like a professional. So let's get into it. These are your study strategies and preparation tips to help you perform your best on exam day. Step 1, create a clear study roadmap. No matter which medical exam you're preparing for, having a plan is what separates the overwhelmed from the prepared. If your test date's coming up, give yourself at least 4 to 6 weeks to build a focused study schedule. Start by breaking the material into major sections, as we discussed earlier. Things like clinical knowledge, administrative procedures, patient care, communication, safety, and compliance. Focus on one area at a time so you can really understand it before moving on. Then, in that final week, shift your focus to review and practice tests. That last stretch isn't about cramming. It's about building confidence, reinforcing what you know, and getting into your test day rhythm. And here's a pro tip. Treat your study time like a work shift. When it's time to study, clock in mentally. No distractions, no halfway there effort, just you, your notes, and your goal. Because every hour you put in now is an investment, one that brings you closer to walking into that exam calm, confident, and ready to show what you know. Now that your roadmap is in place, let's talk about how to make those study sessions really work. Because success isn't just about studying hard, it's about studying smart. Step 2, study tools. Because having the right resources can make all the difference when it comes to your exam success. Start with the official study guides and practice tests from your certifying organization. They're designed to mirror the real exam format, timing, and question style, so you'll know exactly what to expect on test day. Now, official study guides and practice tests can be amazing tools when you're getting ready for your exam, but let's be honest, they're not always within everyone's budget. And if that's the case, don't stress. You can still crush your exam without them. What matters most is that you keep studying and take advantage of any free or affordable practice exams you can find. Remember, these tests aren't designed to see if you can memorize their questions. They're meant to measure how well you understand what you've learned and how you apply it in real-life situations. A study guide won't make you understand. Your effort, your consistency, and your focus will. That's what builds confidence. That's what gets you across the finish line. Next, use flashcards. Digital ones like Quizlet or old-school index cards if you like to write things down. They're perfect for quick review sessions when you've only got a few minutes to spare. But don't just read your notes. Engage with them. Try explaining a concept out loud, as if you're teaching it to a patient or a classmate, because when you can teach it clearly, that's when you truly understand. Here's another powerful tip. Mix it up. Alternate between reading, watching review videos, doing practice questions, and taking short quizzes. Your brain learns best when you change how you study. It keeps things fresh and helps the information stick. And don't forget about timing. Study in focus burst. Go hard for about 45 to 50 minutes, then take a 10-minute break. It keeps your mind sharp and helps prevent burnout. Because remember, this isn't about cramming the night before, it's about consistency. A little focused effort every day builds the confidence you need to walk into that exam feeling ready. Now that you've got your plan in place and your tools lined up, it's time to talk about how to use them effectively. Because not all study methods are created equal. Some help the information stick, while others just make you feel productive. If you really want to study smarter, this next strategy is the game changer. Let's talk about why active recall always beats passive review. Let's talk about one of the biggest game changers when it comes to studying, active recall. A lot of people make the mistake of just reading their notes or highlighting information over and over. That's what we call passive review. And while it feels productive, it doesn't really help your brain retain information long term. Active recall, on the other hand, means pulling the information out of your memory, not just looking at it. That can mean quizzing yourself with flashcards, covering up your notes and explaining the concept out loud, or taking short practice tests. When you challenge your brain to retrieve information, you're actually strengthening those memory connections. Kind of like exercising a muscle. The more you do it, the stronger it gets. Here's an easy way to start. After you finish studying a section, close your book and try to teach it back, either to a classmate, a friend, or even just to yourself out loud. If you stumble through the explanation, that's your signal to go back and review that area. So remember, don't just read it, recall it. That's how you turn knowledge into confidence when test day comes. Once you've got active recall working for you, and you're starting to lock in that knowledge, it's time to take things up a notch. Because knowing the material is one thing, but being able to perform under pressure is what really prepares you for test day. That's where realistic practice comes in. So let's talk about how to practice under the real conditions and make your study sessions feel just like the real exam. Most certification exams follow a pretty similar setup. Around a couple hundred questions and a few hours to finish. That usually gives you about a minute per question, which means time management matters just as much as knowing the material. So before test day, make sure to take at least 2 full-length, timed practice exams. And don't just go through the motions. Treat them like rehearsals for your big performance. Think of studying for your exam like preparing for a live show. You wouldn't just read the sheet music, you'd rehearse. You'd practice like you're on stage, under the lights, with the full band behind you. It's the same with test prep. Don't just flip through your notes. Simulate the real thing. Set a timer, find a quiet place, and take your practice test as if it's exam day. That's how you build rhythm, confidence, and flow. So when the real day comes, you're not scrambling or second guessing. You're performing with purpose, calm, and control. And when you're done, don't just look at your score. Study the story behind it. What questions slowed you down? Which topics tripped you up more than once? Are you rushing through certain sections? That's where the real growth happens. When you find those patterns, you find your opportunities. Every mistake becomes a lesson, and every lesson gets you one step closer to mastering the material and walking into that exam with confidence. Now that you've practiced under real conditions and started identifying those weak spots, the next step is key, because here's the truth. Your weakness doesn't define you. How you work through them does. This is where growth really happens, when you take what challenged you most and turn it into your greatest advantage. So let's dig into it. How to strengthen your weak areas and use them to power your successes. When you're preparing for your medical exam, it's easy to stick with what feels familiar, to keep reviewing the sections you already understand. Here's the thing. Real progress happens when you lean into areas that challenge you. So here's your strategy. After every practice test, take time to review the questions you missed and write them down. Don't just glance at the correct answer. Dig into why it's right, and just as important, why the others weren't. That's how you turn confusion into clarity. If you start to notice a pattern, maybe you're missing pharmacology terms, clinical procedures, or maybe it's administrative concepts. Dedicate an entire study block to that topic. Watch a short video, read that section of your notes, or make a few flashcards focused just on that one area. Keep it simple, keep it consistent, and let each small breakthrough build on the last. Because growth doesn't happen overnight. It happens one question, one correction, and one aha moment at a time. Every weakness you face head on becomes one less thing to worry about on test day. So don't avoid the hard stuff. Master it. That's where your real confidence comes from. Let me give you an example of what I mean to master the hard stuff. Back when I was in the Navy working in anesthesia, I'll be honest, I was terrible at starting IVs. For those who might not know, an IV is what you place in your arm so we can give you fluids or medications. As an anesthesia tech, that's something you do all day. I struggled with it, and instead of facing it head on, I started to avoid it. But one day, my HM2, that's Hospital Corpsman Second Class for my non-Navy folk out there, noticed what I was doing. He pulled me aside and he said, "You're either going to learn how to do IVs or you're going to another department." Then, right in front of me, he picked up an IV needle, stuck it in his own arm, and said, "See, it's not that hard," and walked away. You have no idea how vivid a memory that is. Shout out to HM2 Hankins out there. That moment changed everything for me. I realized I needed to stop running from what was difficult and instead master it. From that day forward, I volunteered for every tough stick I could find. Slowly but surely, I got better. Before long, I became the person everyone called when they had an IV no one could get. And this was before the ultrasound machines they use now. It was all skill, patience, and practice. I'll never forget the day they asked me to start an IV on a newborn. That was an experience I'll never forget. But here's the point. Avoiding the hard things only holds you back. Facing them, mastering them, that's what makes you grow. That's what builds confidence, and before you know it, the thing that once scared you becomes the thing you're known for. Before we move on, I want to take a moment to remind you of something important. And this comes straight from our friends over at MA Study Source on Instagram. Everyone studies differently. Everyone learns at their own pace. So if you ever find yourself comparing your progress to someone else's, stop and take a breath. You might need more time with one subject, while someone else grasps it quickly. And that's completely okay. It doesn't mean you're behind. It means you're learning in the way that works best for you. The goal isn't to race through the material, it's to understand it. Because in healthcare, true understanding is what makes you confident, capable, and ready to care for others. So thank you at MA Study Source for that reminder. And if you're looking for great study resources and encouragement, make sure to check out their page. And thank you for the support. Speaking of support, one of the best ways to stay motivated and keep that understanding growing is through teamwork. Let's talk about how joining a study group or a peer review session can make all the difference. Studying doesn't have to be a solo mission. Joining a study group, even a small one, can make a huge difference in how well you retain information. When you teach a topic to someone else, you're not just helping them, you're reinforcing your own knowledge in a powerful way. Explaining medical procedures, breaking down anatomy terms, or walking through patient care steps out loud helps lock that information in long-term memory. And if you're someone who struggles to stay consistent, study partners help keep you accountable. Whether you're meeting in person, on Zoom, or even just sharing quiz questions through a group chat, the teamwork keeps your motivation high. Try scheduling one group session a week where everyone brings one mini lesson or quiz. You'll be surprised how much you learn from each other and how much more confident you'll feel when you realize, hey, I actually know this stuff. Because remember, success in healthcare has always been about teamwork, and that starts right here before you ever step into the exam room. So you've been putting in the time, reviewing, practicing, and maybe even teaching others, and that's incredible. But here's something a lot of people forget while chasing success. Your brain needs rest just as much as it needs repetition. Because no matter how hard you study, if you're running on empty, your focus and memory starts to fade. So before you dive into that next late night cram session, let's talk about something just as important as studying, your wellness. You can study for hours, run through practice tests, and know every medical term front to back. But if you're exhausted, it's like trying to drive with an empty tank. Your brain isn't a machine. It needs downtime to recharge, reset, and actually store what you've learned. Sleep, nutrition, hydration. They're not extras. They're part of your study plan. So here's your reminder. Make rest a non-negotiable. Aim for at least 7 hours of sleep a night leading up to your exam. Take short breaks during your study sessions. Every hour, step away for 5 minutes, stretch, or grab some water. Those tiny breaks keep your mind sharp and your stress low. And don't forget to breathe. A few deep breaths before you start studying or before your exam can calm your nerves and get you centered. Remember, a clear, rested mind performs better than a tired one. You worked so hard to get here. Trust your preparation, take care of yourself, and walk into that exam focused, confident, and ready to crush it. You've built your knowledge, strengthened your study habits, practiced under real conditions, and taken care of your mind and body. That's a solid foundation. You've done the work, and you're getting closer every day to crossing that finish line. But before we wrap up, let's talk about something just as important, what not to do. Because sometimes, avoiding a few simple mistakes can make you just as much of a difference as all the studying in the world. So let's flip the script and look at some of the most common pitfalls students run into before and during their medical exams. And more importantly, how you can steer clear of them and walk into test day calm, confident, and fully prepared. All right, let's get into it. These are some of the biggest mistakes I've seen students make before test day. And the good news? Every single one of them can be avoided. Mistake number 1, cramming the night before. I get it. It's tempting to squeeze in one last review session at midnight. But here's the thing. Cramming usually does more harm than good. When you overload your brain right before the exam, you increase stress and reduce recall. Instead, do a light review earlier in the evening, pack your ID and essentials, and get a solid night's sleep. A clear, rested mind performs so much better than a tired one. Mistake number 2, ignoring the non-clinical or administrative topics. This one catches a lot of students off guard. Most people pour all their energy into the hands-on clinical material. and skip right over the section that deals with things like documentation, scheduling, billing, or communication. Those areas really matter. They're a big part of the exam and an even bigger part of a real-world healthcare. So don't overlook them. Take the time to review those administrative concepts and give that section the attention it deserves. Because sometimes, those extra points come from topics you almost skipped. Mistake number 3. Skimming questions too quickly. Here's a big one. Rushing through your questions. Think of your exam like a strategy game. You wouldn't just make a move without scanning the field, right? You'd pause, ready to play, and make the next move with confidence. It's the same here. Slow down, read carefully, and watch out for keywords like first, best, or most appropriate. Those can completely change the question. Take your time, eliminate wrong answers, and trust your instincts. That's how you stay calm, focused, and in control. Mistake number 4. Forgetting infection control basics. Never underestimate the power of basics. Infection control, hand hygiene, PPE, sterilization, proper disposal. These are straightforward questions that can easily earn you points. Review your standard precautions because the test absolutely checks for them. The simple stuff can make a big difference in your score. Mistake number 5, poor time management. You'll have about 1 minute per question. If you get stuck, don't panic. Flag it, move on, and circle back later. You'll build momentum by knocking out the questions you do know first. The rhythm keeps your confidence up and helps you manage your time like a pro. And here's a pretty cool thing to know about most certification exams. If you flagged any questions for review, the system won't just let you hit submit and walk away. It'll actually stop you for a moment and remind you that you still have flagged questions to look at before you finish. It's like a built-in safety net. One last chance to double-check your work and make sure you've given it your best before locking in. And finally, mistake number 6, doubting yourself. Don't doubt yourself. This is a huge one. Trust your first answer. I can't say it enough. Most of the time, your first instinct is your best one. You've studied, you've practiced, and you trained for this. So when you read that question, trust the work you put in. Go with your gut, stay confident, and don't overthink it. Because your first answer comes from the knowledge you've built, not the doubt that creeps in after. Remember, avoiding these small mistakes can make a huge impact on your results. You've learned the strategies, built strong habits, and now you know what mistakes to steer clear of. At this point, you've done everything you can to prepare. So let's talk about what happens next. Because test day isn't just another study session, it's your moment to show what all the effort has built toward. Here's what you can expect when the big day finally arrives. On exam day, give yourself plenty of time. Arrive early so you're not rushing. Bring your valid ID, any required paperwork, and leave your phone and personal items behind. Some locations won't allow them in the testing area. Once you check in, you'll get a short orientation that walks you through the testing process. Use the time to breathe, get comfortable, and settle in. When the exam starts, take a deep breath and trust your preparation. You've studied, you've practiced, and you know this material. Pace yourself. You've got about 1 minute per question, so stay ahead and focused. If you hit a tough question, don't let it throw you off. Flag it, move on, and come back later. Remember, you've worked hard for this. This is your time to shine. Stay calm, stay confident, and show what you know. You've got this. So you've made it through test day. The studying, the nerves, the long hours, it's all behind you now. But what happens next? That moment when you walk out of the testing room can bring a mix of emotions. Excitement, relief, maybe even a little uncertainty, especially when those results pop up just minutes later for some exams. But here's the truth. That single moment doesn't define you. What does define you is the effort, the dedication, and the courage it took to get there. If you passed, congratulations. Seriously, take that in. You've earned this. That certification isn't just a piece of paper. It's proof that your hard work, long nights, and determination paid off. Now's the time to celebrate. Update your resume, start reaching out to clinics, hospitals, or offices, and take the next big step toward your career in healthcare. And if things didn't go exactly as planned, don't let it stop you. Some of the best medical professionals out there didn't pass their first exam, but they learned, regrouped, and came back stronger. Look over your performance report. Focus on the areas that need improvement and build a new plan. You've already done the hardest part, showing up. Remember, this isn't just about one test. It's about growth, resilience, and believing your own potential. You've proven that you're capable. Now keep that momentum going, because this is only the beginning of your journey. All right, we've talked strategies, study tips, and everything you need to prep for your exam. But now it's time to shift gears. Time for your map moment, where we turn what we've learned into action.
It's time for your map moment. A quick little push to keep you going. Stay focused, keep strong. Your pathway to success is on.
Here's your map moment for this week. A quick confidence check-in. On a scale from 1 to 10, how confident do you feel about your next big step? It might be your exam, a new skill, or even just balancing everything on your plate. Take a second to be honest with yourself. What's your number? Now think of one small action you can take this week to move that number up by just 1 point. Maybe it's reviewing one tricky topic every morning before work. Maybe it's asking a classmate for help. Maybe it's simply reminding yourself that you've come further than you realized. Confidence isn't about never feeling nervous. It's about showing up anyway and proving to yourself that you can handle it. So that's your map moment. Your challenge is to take one action that boosts your confidence this week. And hey, if you'd like to share what you're doing to boost your confidence this week, I'd love to hear from you. Send your map moment to mappodcast@outlook.com. And who knows, we might share your story in an upcoming episode to inspire others on their journey too. Remember, small progress is still progress, and every step counts towards your success. You know, any big certification exam can feel a little intimidating at first, and that's completely normal. But here's the truth. This test isn't meant to trick you. It's designed to help you prove what you already know. Everything you need is already in you. Your training, your effort, and your commitment have brought you this far, and they prepared you for this moment. If you stay consistent, stay focused, and keep the right mindset, you will get through it. And when you do, you'll step forward with confidence, ready to begin the next chapter of your medical career. This was a deep episode, packed with a lot of valuable information, but all of it is designed to guide you, to help you stay on course and keep moving forward on your map, your pathway to success. And here's something to keep in mind as you head into the week. Preparation is a lot like following a map. Every session, every practice test, every late night note, it's another turn bringing you closer to your own destination. So keep moving forward, keep refining your path, and when exam day comes, you'll be ready to show the world what you're made of. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to follow the show and share it with anyone chasing their healthcare dreams. I'd love to hear from you. If there's a topic you want me to cover, a story you'd like me to share, or something that helped you along the way on your own medical journey, send me an email at mappodcast@outlook.com. Your ideas and experience could inspire someone else on their path. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep following your map, your medical pathway for success.